All right, look, this is going to sound extremely narcissistic and harsh, but it has to be said out loud. Most of the RV industry, most of the manufacturers, and the accessory partners have forgotten about the middle class. There, I said it out loud. Welcome to HB RV Lifestyle, the podcast. I'm the host, John Livingston, aka the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as some other things. Now, where I'm going to start with this is going to surprise you. Because I'm not going to start with travel trailers or motor homes or fifth wheels. I'm going to start with the automotive industry because I was in the auto industry, like my toe dipped in, because at some point in my career, over the 16 years I've been around, the recreational vehicle industry, some of the owners of the RV dealerships had car dealerships. So I remember one time, this was before COVID lockdowns and all that, I worked at a Hyundai dealership one day a week, helping them out just to give somebody a day off. It was usually a day when we were closed at the RV dealership. And I used to sit in the office, the tower, where the managers are working the deals. And every time somebody came in on a Hyundai Sonata or a guy, can't remember what the other car was, a little dinky car they had, and the customer would say they're looking for like a $230, $240 payment, the manager would come back and go, Jesus Christ, I mean, that's a fucking cell phone payment. What do you guys think you're doing? They're buying a car. Go get more money. Right? And if you're a car salesman, you know what I'm talking about. But that's a car. A car is a need with a shorter term loan. It's something you use every day to go make money, pick up your kids, go to the grocery store. Motor vehicles are a different animal. Hundreds of millions of people drive an automobile every single day. The RV industry is a toy. Your side-by-sides, your boats, your travel trailers, your toy haulers, those are all toys. And those are toys bought with debt, 87% of the time. Traditional RV debt, that's not including 401k or personal loans or tapping your house for money, not including that stuff. Just simply the traditional RV loan, 87% of purchases are through debt. And who takes out the majority of the debt? The middle class. The middle class, for the most part, even though it's been squeezed to death, even though it's been slighted and pretty much is shrinking on a daily basis in the United States of America, it is the backbone of how toy industries, adult toy industries, stay in business. And the Tampa RV show is a perfect example of how most of the industry has left that consumer behind. So, great example. John and Jane Doe live in central United States of America, acre and a half of land, small town, want to take their kids to national parks. Mama works part-time at the grocery store. Dad goes and works, as an auto mechanic or plumber or electrician. Family combined makes $75,000 a year before taxes. They got a small mortgage, truck payment, car payment, live a pretty nice life. Those folks buy travel trailers and motorhomes that are under $400 a month. Show me a no motorhome for under $400 a month. Anybody? It used to exist. It wasn't that long ago either, but it used to exist. Jack and Jill have 2 children. Mom works as a nurse. Dad's a stay-at-home dad. Mom makes 80 grand a year as a nurse. Live in the city. Rent an apartment or a studio. Love the city life, but it's time to get out in nature. They got a truck payment and maybe a lease on a car. Those people usually buy $250, $300 a month travel trailers. Those are going away too. Unless you want to buy a 17B Coleman. Hate to say it, but the industry has, how do I put this? They've all decided to jump in together into the same pool and go after the guy that's paying $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month for a Class C motorhome, $2,000 a month for a van that's converted into a motorhome, $800 to $1,200 a month for a fifth wheel that they use 10 times a year. That's where the industry headed. And I don't know what numbers they thought they were seeing. But this is what happens. And I'm going to blame the consumer a little bit for this. And I'll tell you why I blame you in a minute. We'll get to that in a second. Okay? I want you to take a look at a Coachman Beyond Class B motorhome. So Coachman Beyond goes from selling, let's say, 300 camper vans in 2027 to 350 in 2028. Now all of a sudden, ABC Manufacturing, who was building a cheap Class C motorhome targeting the majority, sees, oh wow, look how many Coachman Beyonds for $250,000 sold. 50 more. Well, we can get a share of that. And we could probably eat into Coachman Beyond's market share too. Because we'll just build it the same as they do and call it a different thing with a different fucking sticker on it. So who suffers? The cheap Class C motorhome suffers. Now, why do I blame the consumer a little bit? Because you're the ones that keep asking for all this crap. It's just like with COVID-19. It pisses people off that I say this, but you didn't have to go spend all the free money the government gave you on toys and houses and bid up houses beyond what they were listed for. You didn't have to go spend $30,000 over sticker on a diesel truck. You didn't have to spend $15,000 over sticker on a basic Honda Civic. You didn't have to do any of that. You could have stayed home, locked down, paid your rent, paid your bills, paid your credit card debts down. You didn't have to redo your entire house and jack the prices up of appliances. You didn't have to create all this inflation. You could have just left the free money alone. We could have all done it. But we didn't. Now, because you guys see all these people that are influencers that are camping out in B motorhomes and DIY projects that are really cool. But now you want all this independent suspension and all these fancy appliances and these fancy solar systems. That way you don't have to have a generator run your air conditioner, even though you don't go out to any place that's really too hot. And even though you go to places mainly that are plug-ins, And even though you guys mainly only use it less than 10 days a year, you still want all this fancy shit on it. And then all of a sudden you look at the sticker price and then you look at the selling price and what the show price is and what you finally paid for it, and you go, oh my God, what did we do? This is extremely expensive. But you asked for it. You didn't ask the manufacturer to do less. You keep asking them for more. If you want to bring prices down on travel trailers and motorhomes and fifth wheels, you have to get the manufacturers to build another line that is specifically targeting that audience. So let's say you're a fifth wheel buyer that wants to spend no more than $400 a month. Well, that means you need to buy between a $30,000 and $40,000 fifth wheel, depending on how much you're going to put down. See, price and payment correlate so dramatically in the RV industry. Okay? But you want something with the look of a Brinkley. Brinkley's not going to turn around and mark down their price 70% off sticker. It's not going to happen. But maybe if everybody went to the show and everybody piled on to Brinkley or Grand Design or Forest River, whoever it is, and said, hey guys, look, we love the look of your fifth wheel, but we don't need independent suspension. We don't need 9,000 watts of solar on the roof. We don't necessarily need 2 air conditioners. We don't need a big residential refrigerator. We're going out for 3 or 4 days. We don't need a 70-inch TV in our RV. We don't need a washer and dryer that we're probably never gonna hook up or use. You guys keep asking for this crap, but then you get mad when the sticker prices all go through the roof. Now, I blame the manufacturer too, because they should know better. There's a guy named Doug that used to run a factory up in Indiana. And you know, he said something probably one of the smartest things I ever heard. So I was sitting there with him, this is years and years ago. I was sitting with him and I'm like, you know, this is back before solar was really a big thing. And him and I had this conversation, and the conversation went, you know, the West Coast really needs a lot of people. They just demand solar on every unit. And he goes, okay, go ask them how many times they're going to go out in the middle of the desert with their fridge and not have it plugged in at their campsite. He believed less was more. Less cabinets, less weight, cheaper price. That was his motto. He would rather build 50 travel trailers a week that the consumer could buy for less than 20 grand and tow with a 5,000 pound tow capacity vehicle than to build 37-foot travel trailers with big slides and big TVs that no half-ton truck can really tow. And that a consumer have to spend 50 or 60 grand to have. This is a problem. It's a really big problem. You, the consumers, have the power. And the power is not through not buying an RV and screaming, crying, and calling everybody names and calling everything too expensive and I'm out. I mean, that doesn't help nobody. What does help is saying, hey, love the look of this Alliance Avenue, but I don't need all this stuff. Don't you guys have a cheaper option? sometimes similar layout, but not going to cost me $850 a month. Maybe some will cost me $400 a month. If enough people said that on the internet or to the manufacturers, somebody will wake up and start building it. Back to life. Because they don't take my word for it. If they took my word for it, it would have already been done. It would have been done 2 years ago. And not decontenting units. Creating a new lineup of travel trailers that look good, that are profitable for both the manufacturer and the dealer, and is affordable monthly payment wise with the consumer. But that's not going to happen unless you folks go out and buy this stuff. See, that's the other thing you have to realize. Once you've asked the manufacturer for it, now you actually have to go buy it. So you guys aren't buying the big luxury fifth wheels because they're unaffordable. But you asked for them, but you're not buying them. So when they put a cheaper product on the market that's a lot more affordable, then you guys bitch and complain, it looks, it's cardboard, it's trash, it's garbage. So the manufacturer's in a losing situation no matter how you look at it. They're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. And if you don't think a company like Brinkley would build a cheap travel trailer if you guys wanted it and you guys actually went out and bought it, you're full of shit. If those Fennec boys saw anything even resembling something that it could increase the value of that company, so when they sell it off to a big corporation, they can get $1 billion for it, you don't think they wouldn't do that in a heartbeat? Hell yeah, they would. If you went up to them and said, hey, I want a cheaper version of it, I don't need all this crap, but I love the interior lighting, and maybe you have to go to a cheaper cabinet, maybe you don't put as much storage in it, but you know, you got to look and the name and you know, if you believe the company's better service-wise and customer service-wise, boom, there you go. You don't think they would see an opportunity? They would. But the more you guys keep asking for more of this crap, the more they think that they're just gonna kill it out there. It's like an AI bubble. It's gonna pop. And when it pops, you're not gonna get the deals you guys think you're going to get. Sorry. I know you guys want, I know what people want, I know what people are thinking, but it's not true. It's not gonna happen. Believe me, it would turn into an absolute shit show. And this is why this is where I'm gonna go with this, okay? Just to kind of segue into this and close this out. When you think about a company, let's say like Alliance RV. Alliance goes out of business tomorrow. All the banks own all that inventory, and it's all new inventory. Who do you think they're going to go to first to buy that inventory? They're not going to go to you, the consumer. They're on the hook for $100,000 a copy. They're not going to take a $90,000 loss to sell you a coach for $10,000. They're going to go to the government and go, hey, FEMA, we got all these Alliance travel trailers and fifth wheels. You want them? FEMA's going to go, yeah, how much? 80 cents on the dollar. Done. It's government. Bailout. So, the folks that can't afford them will sit there on the sidelines and bitch and gripe and complain and tell everybody a crash is coming. The people that can't afford them, but are like, I don't want that kind of payment, I don't want to drain my bank account, are going to sit on the sidelines believing the people that can't afford them. And the people that can afford to buy them are buying them, but there's not enough of them. Because we forgot about Jane Doe, we forgot about Jack and Jill, we forgot about, Karen and Chad. We forgot about the middle class of the United States of America. Until next time, remember, RV stands for toolkit and sense of humor.